I just recorded an entire episode, and because I restarted my computer, my recording software decided to be like, I don't recognize a microphone, and I didn't check it. So here we are, my friends. I originally was going to play the game Jacobina, but then I looked and we're probably going to smash them. And then we did, and I was like, great. Let's save ourselves for this, because Con, who are in the 4th division, but at least in the Northeast Regional at the time, they were top of their group with 9 points, but then they played us and have been smashed to pieces. So the Copa Sudamericana, I'm trying to think of all the things I just talked about. The Copa Sudamericana starts on March 20th. It says the first round is March 20th through April 10th, except we're not on the list of matches. Like if I come up here, Copa Sudamericana, we're not on this list on March 20th or April 10th. My guess is that that's because there is like a preliminary like a round. But where we finished last season said we joined in the preliminary stages. Unless I'm just nope, that's not it. Unless I'm outside of my mind here. The rules here, we finished 8th, preliminary round. So I'm thinking there must be a preliminary round that happens. And that was going to be what I was going to bring back for the next episode. We do have stuff we could talk about. Let's start here. I'm doing my best to avoid being irritated on camera, because that's not fun and entertaining. It was a really entertaining episode. Like I talked, it was great. He was great. Maybe I should just put a video of me going with no sound. We're currently in 2nd in this one in the Bahia State Championship, even on points, because of goal difference. It's like, wow, really? Plus 21 for the team that just got promoted to the 1st division in Brazil, which is okie dokie. And then over here, we are smashing as you might expect us to. It's been really interesting. Bruno Nazario has been on fire, primarily here. Now, that's probably not fair. Like, I'm not saying he's a world beater, but he is on an 8.35. He also has 2 starts and a sub in the state championship on a 7.57. And I do want to say, because I said this in the first time I recorded this, thank you to everyone who left very, very helpful comments about why these championships exist. And essentially it's like, why is it local to the one state? Well, back in the early 20th century, when it was hard to travel throughout Brazil, obviously, right? Brazil, if you actually look at it on a map, pretty massive country, right? And so transporting a team from one end of the country to another was more difficult, right? So these regional championships or state championships, right, popped up. And that makes complete sense. I do think it's a little unfair. It reminds me a little bit of the US Open Cup, where it's like, yeah, all these amateur teams can play, and then like the whatever they're calling the lower leagues of professional soccer in the United States that can't get promoted and relegated, like USL League 2, League 1, whatever that's called these days. I don't actually know, because I think it's garbage that they can't get relegated or promoted. Like, they can still play, but then eventually MLS comes in and just stomps everybody. And that kind of feels like this too. It's like, why don't you just have it? Maybe there is some other cup or championship just for like the local regional teams that aren't in the 1st division. Because it's almost like, well, eventually the 1st division team's going to win. Although then I think on the flip side, you could say, well, it's like having, who was it? Was it Lincoln? Or somebody who had Arsenal come to their stadium 2 seasons ago in one of the English Cup games, which obviously is like their biggest game ever, right? From a crowd standpoint, and that helps them with the money and all that kind of stuff. I do think, I don't want to hear any more complaining from myself or anyone else about fixture congestion in any other league, because this is insane that there's this many games, and then we have a continental competition that starts somewhere in here, and then the Brazilian Cup is going to be a part of that, and then the 1st division. So it's just been wild. It's just been absolutely wild, my friends. As you can tell here, we've mixed a bunch of players in. I know one of my questions I asked in the first time I recorded this was, well, it's still going to show it. Let's see. Okay, you see where this is training style attack, training style physical, and down here is preseason. Okay, these preseason ones were the only trainings on calendar at the start of the season. So we started the Bahia State Championship, and it was like, week of full rest. And I was like, we need to change that. And my guess is that's just Football Manager going like, I don't know how to juggle when preseason actually starts. Because it's like, or maybe it's based off of when the league starts and it backs up a certain number of weeks. Like 8 weeks before the start of the league is when preseason is. I didn't know if I was supposed to take this off preseason or not, so I just kind of left it. But is that the reason that happened? Anybody know in the comments? Because I don't. We have had some transfers, my friends. Kind of buried the lead here. Steven Rivadeneira has gone to San Jose Earthquakes in the aforementioned MLS for a whopping $600,000. The problem we ran into, we had all kinds of teams. We had loans through the end of the season, loans to the end of next season, all of them with like, a mandatory fee after 15 or 10 games. They were all great with it, sharing the wage cost, like whatever, for a lot higher fee. And he kept turning them down. And I put him surplus to requirements. Like, I couldn't get this guy to leave. Kind of annoying. And so then we just tried to sell him. And clubs were like, yeah, can you pay half of his wages? And it's like, no, his contract's through 2027. We'd have to pay half his, like, essentially the transfer fee that we would get would just pay for us to pay his wages to come play for you. I'm not doing that. And so we finally sent it out, San Jose, $600,000, paying zero wages. And now he's gone. Good riddance. It saves us 468,000 euros a year, $9,000 a week, whatever that math works out to. Maybe it's 492,000. No, that doesn't make. No, it's probably 468. So it saves us a lot of money, even though we didn't get a great transfer fee. Although we did pick him up on a free. So, hey, he gave us one good season on the 7.01, and then we moved him on. We sold Sato to Dejan Hannah Citizen, all one word. Maybe for $275. His value was $145 for us, which was kind of nice to get that transfer. Also picked him up on a free. I just needed to free up a foreign player spot. It just wasn't worth it. Like, he's not that good to be taking up a spot. Loaned some other players out. We have signed Wallison Gontillo. Or is it Wallison? I'm thinking Allison, right? Like Liverpool goalkeeper. This is my experience with Brazilian names. I apologize, but Allison, so Wallison, right? I don't know. It makes sense to me. We paid $4.5 million for him, which is too much, but they got the domestic release clauses, which also I forgot to save on the screen in the inbox. But apparently those also go down like on an annual basis on a certain date, which I think is fascinating because obviously it keeps you from, hey, when you were 16 years old, you signed a contract and you're locked in forever. I think I would love to learn more about the contract structure in Brazil and how that works and like what the schedule is to reduce the domestic minimum fee release clause, because I think that's a great idea, actually, forcing teams to use the players to where they want to stay or they get sold for less even though they signed for more. I think that's a great idea. Anyway, Gontillo here is essentially the Cartagena backup, right? He wanted regular player minutes, and then we said, hey, how about squad player, then regular player, then important player when we're not here? Ha, someone else's problem. I think he's a tasty little nugget. Got a tasty little release clause in here that eventually will apparently go down. But, got him on a contract for four whole seasons. Yes, 4 seasons. I think he could be sold for more in the future if he develops. He could play right back if we need him to, but we don't need him to because we bought somebody else. But, I mean, obviously, he's classic holding mid or ball-winning midfielder. Like, he is Cartagena's 18-year-old cousin. Probably. Or he could play defensive midfielder or ball-winning midfielder at the DM slot. In a bind, he could play center back, but we got enough center backs that we don't really need that. Right? So I'm pretty happy with that, to be completely honest with you. Let me show you the squad screen here. We've had all kinds of people scoring goals and all that kind of stuff. We do have some injuries here. So Ribeiro has had a back muscle issue. I guess if I could have one thing in FM22, it'd be let my physios do this. This right here. The thing I just did. Could the physios please do this? Please. Please, SI. That would be great. So he's missed 2 games now. Lucas Rodriguez, I felt bad. He came back, I guess, he came back from his broken wrist. And it was like, yeah, you can go like 60 minutes or 75 minutes or something like that. I subbed him in a game. Let's take a look here at the form. I subbed him in, I think. It says injured 80th. I don't think we started him. Yeah, he subbed in. It was a sub. I subbed him in like the 65th minute, and he got injured in the 80th minute. And I was like, great. So he's now had 2 pretty major injuries unrelated to each other, which is worse. Like, at least it'd be like, oh, he broke his wrist again. It just wasn't healed. But now, no, it's like he broke his wrist and he jacked up his legs. Great. Fantastic. He's signed an important player contract. It's great. We have pulled up some youth prospects to play in some of these games. Itaro Patrick. There is so much talent in Brazil. It is, I am kind of overwhelmed, not gonna lie. We're playing him at right wing a couple times, just once really. But he's left-footed. I just wanted to like use some youth players. Murilo Gabriel has not gotten into a game yet, but he's gonna. Once we get really into the Northeast State Championship, where we're playing some of those lower level teams. Look at this. 2.5 stars to 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. Fairly professional, either footed, promising center back who's 6'2". I would like him to like me. Does he like me right now? He doth not, my friends. We would like him to like us. We'll give him his debut here at some point. But again, we've rotated in. I have come to understand why you need 40 players registered. Because at first I was like, 40 seems like a lot. Like, shouldn't it be like 25? Like, nope, 40 makes sense. Again, Bruno has been outstanding for us, but we've rotated some players in. We've also got Lucas Vinicius, who almost got poached from us. We had a lower release clause and someone activated it, but I offered him a contract and he took it. Now we have promised him squad player minutes, but my goodness, look at the technique, passing, and first touch. Are you kidding? He's definitely a deep line playmaker. Woo! Oh, if he could finish and some of this was a little bit better. I know he's just 18. We make him a box-to-box midfielder or an advanced playmaker, but he's definitely not an advanced playmaker right now because his flair and his dribbling are not so hot. But deep line playmaker, get out. Who does he remind you of in Brazil? I have no idea, but maybe you do. We've pulled up Jaja. I don't know what the accent on the A is for in Brazil, because Ribeiro is injured, so we needed to pull a guy up, and he's been thrilled with coming. He's like, I'll train better, boss. So get in, son. Everyone else is pretty much the same. We have played João Pedro Silva a little bit. He's battling for Euler for the starting left wing spot. He's been pretty tasty. 3 goals in each of the competitions plus 2 assists. Now again, you got to go levels. You're playing at levels here, folks. But you know, Euler's got a goal in each competition and assist now. You know, he's probably not played as many games. 4 with 1 sub. It doesn't matter. He's had a whole extra sub. So fair play to him. But we've been doing all right, really. I mean, when you think about it. All right, so here's where the club finances set, even with those relatively, you know, overpaid transfers of $3 million to $4.5 million for the 2 youngsters that we brought in, or rotational, eventually going to be regular starter players. We still have 2.5 of the transfer budget. We have a boatload of money in the wage budget. We have money in the bank. And again, just as a reminder, we have these 2 guys showing up in March, which I guess is kind of handy because it's like, okay, we've played a bunch of players and here's the Copa Sudamericana. Throw it into the mix. Well, here's 2 more players, I guess, to help us out. Yay. Again, folks, I am getting super excited. This is going to be a little bit of a ramble. And this is when I went to physical therapy for my ears. So if you see a spine on the shirt here where you're like, what is that? That's where that's coming from. I'm getting excited for FM22. I'm trying to get ahead on my planning. I'm trying to find more of those like After Effects templates or pre-made things that like can really make the videos pop. So I'm working through that. I am going to be starting with Schalke. We're going to do a rebuilding Schalke because honestly, let me just check the live standings here. This is great content. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to leave a comment about how awesome this content is. Oh no, I don't even have the 2. I forgot. I didn't forget that they're in the 2 Bundesliga, but how about we just find Schalke here on the OneFootball app because that's what I use. I'm afraid. Oh, they lost to Karlsruhe SC today and find themselves in 10th place on 10 points with 11 goals scored and conceded. It's not good. It's not good. You know, you could argue if you want to be a popular FM content creator, that you should do Arsenal or Manchester United, or who else would be fun to rebuild or whatever. Brentford might be popular, you know, those types of saves. But I think Schalke is interesting. I know it's not as much in the news. I know like they went down in flames essentially and all kinds of debt, or like Barcelona. I know Laluja right now has had like a video get like 100,000 views on rebuilding Barcelona. So it's like I could do that, and it's like a little peek behind the curtain. Like you could get on the end of the video when it goes like, watch these other videos. Like you could pop up on that, but like I just like doing stuff that I like doing. I like narrative. I like things that I'm already bought into, so I've got some other stuff planned after Schalke. I would like to know, doing Schalke, what are the goals, right? Like I know we had some comments recently. I can't remember if it was on a video, might have been on a video or in Discord, saying like maybe like the goal is to finish above Borussia Dortmund 5 times. Or I think someone said maybe 5 times in a row, which might be more challenging. Like that might take forever. But getting excited about that. I just want to give you a warning. I have a camping trip with my family about 2.5 weeks before FM22 comes out. FM22 comes out on November 9th. About 2.5 weeks before that weekend, I'm going to be away from the internet and my computer and my ability to record. And I just know, I can see it coming. That FM22 is going to come out that Friday night, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to be able to be one of those creators that goes out to get in the YouTube algorithm or people watch the videos, and I just hope that you understand why. That trip has been planned for a while, and so that's more important than FM22 content. Spending time with my kids, eventually they're going to move out on me, and I'm going to be sitting here with my wife all by myself, and then I can plan my life all I want to do FM 48 or whatever it is content. Won't that be interesting? It'll be all 3D at that point, and like we'll be wearing goggles or something like that. Went off the rails there. But if you're interested in FM22, there's a lot of stuff in the description below, and I don't like talking about it all the time, but I wouldn't be doing my job as a content creator if I didn't. So make sure you check it out. You can get 10% off plus another 10% off if you use my discount code with the link below. But really, I would more encourage you, if you are not a part of our Discord community, it is absolutely fantastic. If you like Fantasy Premier League, we've got a channel for that. If you like Liverpool, like this guy does, then we've got a channel for that. There's lots of good banter about footy matches. A lot of it is going to be English Premier League because that's primarily what I'm watching right now. But we had a 24 Hours of Le Mans channel, and we have a Formula Racing channel for F1 races. Would highly encourage you to check out all the links below. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to really do that, or buy a t-shirt of mine, which is way back there, and I can't get to it right now, on Teespring. If you do want to support the channel, though, you can buy FM22 if you're going to buy it anyway, or you can throw a buck my way on Patreon. Patreon.com/grayhairgaming. Some people go like, well, I want to support more than $1, but I don't want to go to the $5 level. You can modify it in Patreon into $2.96 a month if that so pleases you. But my friends, again, you're not really missing much by not having seen this 4-0 smashing where we played all of our starters and João Pedro Silva got a hat trick. You know, it was kind of a lot of me talking anyway. I'm going to have a video out on game week 6 for Fantasy Premier League because I did use the wild card for game week 5 because Jack Harrison was out with the C virus word, and Antonio was out with a red card. Don't worry, it went well. I have 3 Wolves defenders. My goal for Fantasy Premier League this season is to be in the top 500 grand. As of tonight, because lots of people have, you know, Ronaldo, maybe Jamie Vardy like I do, Bruno, Luke Shaw. Like there's a lot of, you know, players that are going to play tomorrow that haven't played yet. So like temporarily, I have hopped up, I'm just checking here, to like 270,000 in the game, which I'm absolutely thrilled with. I just need West Ham, Manchester United, Brighton, Leicester, Tottenham, and Chelsea players to have absolute duds. Like It'd be great if it was all 1-1 draws, because obviously that would also help Liverpool. 1-1 draws with like, so no defender gets bonuses, and, you know, random players from the bench, like youth prospects, score the goals that no one would have in Fantasy Premier League. That really helped me out. I'm sure all the managers will oblige. My friends, this has been really random, but here's where we're at. I'm going to bring you back to whenever the Copa Sudamericana is, or if it's before that, when one of those semifinals or finals is. Sounds like a deal. We will see you then. Thanks for understanding in advance. Have a good one. Bye-bye.